There used to be 34 theaters in Berkeley. Today, the Elmwood Theater and the Pacific Film Archive are the only two that remain. Of course, the decline of Berkeley's commercial theaters is on par with the century-long decline of theaters in America in general. But many of Berkeley's theaters, although shut down, are still around us, like the facade of the Oaks Theater, which is now a climbing gym, and the UC Theater, which now hosts live shows. So what does the past, present, and future look like for the theaters in Berkeley?
Berkeley has a very rich film history. It goes back to the early part of the 1900s. We had a number of actual vaudeville theaters that were converted to film houses. So in our exhibit at the Berkeley Historical Society and Museum, we had a whole timeline of these theaters, but there were many theaters and many that don't exist.
The three most recent theaters that were shut down currently are sitting empty, awaiting possible development. One is the United Artists Theater in downtown.
Hi, I'm Dan Ondrusek. I'm a member of the Save the United Artists Berkeley group, and I'm standing in front of the United Artists in Berkeley, which unfortunately looks like it's condemned to be demolished. Our group has worked for the last 2 or 3 years to do everything we could do to save it. A little about the theater: it was built in 1932 by Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks, and Charlie Chaplin. And it was Chaplin and Pickford's favorite theater of all the theaters they built because of the Art Deco splendor that's in there.
I think it's important to note that the Shattuck, the Cow, and the UA Berkeley 7 didn't close because they were unsuccessful. They closed because the property sold and the value of the land was such that, developers wanted them for other uses.
The current plan for the UA is for the Panoramic Interest Group to convert the theater into a 17-story apartment complex while leaving the facade in front. Daryl Owens, a Berkeley City Planning Commissioner, breaks down some possible reasons why these development projects have been stalled.
Development is a pretty contentious topic, especially how we do it here in the United States, and especially as we've done it in Berkeley. It's very long, and the amount of energy put into it sometimes far outweighs the actual tangible benefits. And there are times where, due to macroeconomic influences, due to specific downturns, development runs into stall periods. That's been a constant throughout history. And we're particularly in one right now with downtown. Berkeley has a housing shortage. It's had one for 40, 50 years now, a pretty severe one. And housing allows for more people to move into our community, allows for people who need housing to be able to live here, for UC students to live here, and not have to commute far away from other cities. The developers of housing and the property owners generally pay very high property taxes because under Proposition 13, longtime homeowners have comparatively low property taxes. So the property taxes of say, your average downtown development pays as much as oftentimes 500 to 1,000 single-family homes in property tax revenue.
We need housing, but we don't need it on that site. There were 2 other actual former movie theaters where projects were slated to be developed on those sites, and those projects have failed. So we have actually 2 alternative sites.
I think that we, as a society, have to morph and grow into understanding how important these buildings are to our children, to understand our history after we're gone, and to better the diversity of the urban experience in every city in America. Berkeley's been gifted with incredible landmarks, including the UA, especially the UA. And I'm not anti-housing, it has to happen. We're growing as a state, but there has to be exceptions, and this should be one of them.
I don't think it was realistic to ever have 3 downtown theaters, but I do think, and this is one regret I do have about the downtown plan, we probably should have sought to preserve 1. Even though it wasn't a modern, comfortable theater, even though I would probably still be driving to AMC theater anyways. I could see preserving 1 theater, nonprofit run. Maybe with the recent project failure with the Californian, something like that could happen as an operation. And that's something I support, and I think that would be fun for kids to go to. But it was not a viable business model. It was dying for years. It was dying for decades.
As Daryl suggests, a potential compromise seems to lie on the idea that one of Berkeley's theaters is worth preserving, but it would likely have to be nonprofit run. As of October 2025, the abandoned Shattuck Cinemas location has been repurchased, providing hope for positive downtown development.
You know, one of the things that I love about being an exhibitor is just standing in the lobby and observing, as movies are going in and movies are getting out, the connections and the people running into their friends and neighbors and colleagues.
For now, the Pacific Film Archive and the Elmwood Theater are continuing the magic of cinema in the city of Berkeley.
Movies have different impacts. And when you see a movie with a group of people, a group of strangers, it changes it. So comedies become more funny, dramas become more impactful, scary movies are scarier. Really what happens in a movie theater is magic, because a group of strangers gather in an auditorium, they share a common experience in a darkened room, and they become an audience. And that is magical.